Hello and welcome back to another video. So today we are doing probably the jankest deck I've ever made. I was on YouTube the other day watching some videos of other decks from other creators, and I was inspired by this one particular deck that used a lot of land destruction. So I tried to replicate it. Wasn't really working for me and made my own version of it. So let's just jump into what is actually in this deck, and I will explain everything. Okay, so this is Elemental Destruction. So the whole basis of this deck is to basically land ramp using Risen Reef and a whole bunch of elementals. One of those being Nyxbloom Ancient, which provides 3 times the amount of mana used each time you tap a land for mana. So having that much land at your disposal, I should say, is basically what we're aiming for here. So as I said, we've got the Risen Reef, and then we have a Leafkin Druid, we have Nyxbloom Ancient, and we have Healer of the Glade. I also have Arboreal Grazers in for early game to try and get extra lands out. The Leafkin also used as a mana source as well. We've also got Growth Spiral as well to try and not only burn cards in our decks, but actually hopefully get more lands out as well. I found from the early iterations of this deck that I wasn't getting through the deck fast enough, so I've put a lot of cards in here like Thirst for Meaning and Shimmer of Possibility and Drawn from Dreams to try and help burn through the deck. It still wasn't doing that much, so I've also thrown in 4 Hydroid Krasis. So ideally you'd have your Risen Reef out, and then you'd throw a Nyxbloom Ancient down, and then you have a lot of mana to play with, and then you throw out a Hydroid Krasis with, like, say, X value of 10, and get 5 cards drawn from that, and you also get the life as well. So that's what we're aiming for here. I've also got Wilderness Reclamation in there as well, you know, just in case there's some instance in here that you want to use on your off turns and you've used up all your mana. The other thing is I've got 1000 Year Storm in here. So basically, when you put this down, well, let's just read the card. It says, well, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant and sorcery spell you've cast before at this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. So in an ideal situation, you want to put down a cheap instant or sorcery first, say something like an Opt, and then the second instant or sorcery you use in that turn will activate 2 times, and then so forth from that, so 2, 3, 4. So I've put a lot of cheap instants and sorceries in here, so we've got some 1 costs and we've got some 2 costs as well, but we want to ramp it up to using Rubble Reading, which destroys target lands and scries too. So you'd throw down, say, an Opt, then a Shock, and then a Rubble Reading, and you're gonna, like, basically destroy like 5, 6 of their lands and pretty much render them useless. So that's pretty much the whole aim of this whole entire deck. You've just got your regular lands, you got a few scry lands in here, and some that gain life. I find that if you don't actually get the lands and some of these creatures out early, you start to sort of suffer in regards to being attacked and losing life, so there's a little bit of life gain in here as well. Now, I've actually been spending pretty much most of the day actually trying to record a decent game with this deck. This deck does not win very often at all, but when it does, it's the most amazing thing that you can possibly see. So in saying that, I haven't actually got a live recorded gameplay footage of this deck, but luckily I have NVIDIA GeForce Experience set up as well, so whenever I do actually play a good game. If I'm not actually recording, I can just press my little shortcut and save the gameplay for it. So that's what I've done. So I'm going to be commentating a recording of this deck at its finest. So in saying that, let's go and have a look at that game. Okay, so we're not quite at the beginning of this game, but as you can see, I started copying a bit of damage here from, because the fact he had a lot of like smaller minions out. I managed to sort of keep him at bay a little bit here with these Arboreal Grazers, because they're only doing 1 damage, and luckily they have reach as well, so it came in quite handy against this Healer's Hawk. So he's gaining a lot of health from this Healer's Hawk as the game progresses, so I'm really trying to sort of just get this Risen Reef out, and then the Nyxbloom Ancient after that, and that's pretty much when all the fun begins. Now, I've been trying to not kill off this Ministrant of Obligation just quite yet, because it has Afterlife, so I just don't want to get any more like little creatures out. So I've put my land down, place the Risen Reef, and got another land, place that one down. So you can see we've got a lot of land ramp in this, which is good when you get it. So this is like the only time I've actually been able to do anything decent with this deck, but it was cool enough, I thought, to actually show you guys what it is capable of. I think if I tweak it a little bit more, I might be able to get a bit more success out of it. So if anything that you can see in here that you think might help it out a little bit, please let me know, because it was really fun to play in this particular game. So yeah, I'm blocking here with these Arboreal Grazers, just trying to basically sustain as long as I possibly can. It's made down to 7 health. Alright, so this is where the fun begins. So I think I put the Leafkin down here. We're having now more than 4 creatures. That is also going to generate an extra 2 green, which then turns into 6 because of the Nyxbloom Ancient as well, which is really handy. And then obviously we have got Wilderness Reclamation here, just to give us back all our lands at the end of our turn. So here I thought I was pretty much screwed, but from a lot of very well thought out and smart blocking, I managed to survive through this round as well. So just, yeah, targeting the creatures that pose the most threat. I sacrificed the Risen Reef because I don't really need it to trigger off to get lands anymore, because I've got, well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lands times 3 is 27 mana, so that's heaps. That's way more than enough that we need. So the Risen Reef isn't really important anymore. So yeah, kill a few of these things off there. Put another Leafkin down just for some more mana, and then use the Thirst for Meaning to try and draw cards, trying to get something that will help burn through the deck a bit more. And luckily enough, we get the Hydroid Krasis. So we got rid of the 2 lands because we didn't need them anymore. Played the Hydroid Krasis. Didn't spend too much because we're going to draw cards as well, so we could actually cast some more cards after as well. So I didn't want to make it a full beast. And then yeah, we've put more lands down, more Risen Reefs. Just trying to get the 1,000 Voices to come out now. I figured I could pay the life there because we had a lot of defenders now, and having that extra mana to send more cards through is what we wanted. And luckily enough, we got another Hydroid Krasis. So this is a very long turn. I'm actually quite impressed that this guy didn't actually concede at this point, but he must have wanted to see what I was actually doing as well. So it's good when people are a little bit patient and let you jank out a deck. It's pretty cool. So we've got the Rubble reading there, but again, no point really using that because it kind of, we don't have the other card out yet. So we're just trying to find that card. So we got our blockers now. We can pretty much block all his creatures here and not lose too much. Plus he's only got one card in his hand, so he doesn't really have a lot to really play with now. So my goal here was to just try and get rid of the stronger creatures and all the ones with life gain at minimum. Again, I don't need the Risen Reefs. They're just there to get the extra lands, which we already have a lot of, so I'm prepared to sacrifice those. Just can't afford to lose the Nyxbloom Ancient, that's all. Alright. So he's still got a pretty significant life lead here on me. And for some reason I ended up putting on full control. I don't know how I did that. So that's why it's a little bit weird here at this point. Had to turn it off. I don't know if the game bugged out. Sometimes when you do real janky things in this game, the game just doesn't know what to do and just does the weirdest bugs. So I wanted to keep the shock as like a starter for the combo, just because it was cheap. So here we've got another Nyxbloom, which I think I play here. So now we have 3 times my mana source, so we have pretty much close to an unlimited amount of mana at this point. Again, I think I went like 10, yeah. Just because we had a lot of mana to play with now, we can actually play a lot more cards from the draw. So I think definitely having the Hydroid Krasis in this deck is the key, like card draw card in the deck. So now we get our Thousand Year Storm. Thankfully, putting in a land down. Okay, so now I trigger this off. So I figured if I did the opt first, I'd get a card, and then I could use the shock to basically clear all the creatures on his board. So it's given us copies of that. And the good thing is that once you actually cast it, you can then change the targets as well. If you decide to change your mind on it as well. So we can pretty much kill all these creatures here at this point. He's still sitting there, he hasn't conceded yet, so kudos to you, Gabriel Crow, for actually hanging in there and letting me actually try and finish this game. Alright, so all those triggers are done. We go back. See, I don't know why I didn't actually kill one of those spirits there. Not that that really matters too much, but that's all good. Alright, so we've pretty much drawn through our whole deck almost here at this point. So, got all the cards we want. Now, the most magnificent thing you'll ever see happens here. We pretty much, I think we get rid of all of his lands. And again, as I've said several times, he did not concede at all during this match. So I was very happy to actually get this gameplay footage. Because I've never actually quite done a land destruction. This is my very first land destruction deck, so good to see it actually can work. In the right circumstances, of course. It's just annoying having to scry each time you destroy a land, though. I mean, I think if I was in his position too and I saw all this stuff happening, I would be very fascinated and would like to see what actually the other guy could come up with, but I think I had a feeling that that last card in his hand was a land as well, so we've just put another Nyxbloom Ancient down just for added insult to injury, giving us even more mana. I could have done more Rubble Reading, but didn't have any lands left to destroy, so I don't think I kill him here. Mainly because the other Hydrate Krasis only came out this turn, so there's no point in even blocking this stuff because it's going to kill it all anyway. I think he tried to let me kill him at this point, but I didn't quite have the creatures. Yeah, I think he puts down like a land and does he use this other card? I can't remember if he does or not. No. So I think I didn't need to put that down. I just put it down because I could. Like, look at how much mana I have from tapping 2 cards. I got like 45, 48 mana. Like, it's just insane. I mean, if I had those 2 down when I did it the first time, man, it would have just could have pretty much cleared, I reckon, maybe 10 to 20 lands. See, I didn't even need to do anything. I could have just attacked, but while in the jank mode, you may as well do what you can to make it as impressive as you can. So yeah, that is the Elemental Destruction deck, which is pretty sweet. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the video today. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing land destruction in one of its most jankiest forms. If you enjoyed watching that, please feel free to give me a like, and also subscribe if you so wish, as that would help me out immensely. Don't forget to follow me down on my socials below. That's SkelerDaveMTG on Instagram and Twitter. And I am uploading exclusive content on there on every second day or so. So definitely go and check that out as well. On that note, I will leave it at that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.